The governor is facing lawsuits and could face criminal charges from these harassment allegations. And that's not all.
Yeah, there are still investigations into his book deal and the nursing home scandal.
Assemblymember Ron Kim says he is re-upping his commitment, bringing back a tweet from March that reads, quote, "After Cuomo goes down for sexual harassment, I'll still be here to hold him accountable for 15,000 deaths." That's a strong statement there.
And that brings us to our next guest right now. Here to help us understand what exactly happens next is State Senator Michael Gianaris from Queens. He's the Senate Deputy Majority Leader. So, State Senator, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And we just heard from what Ron Kim said, right? Re-upping his commitment to hold the governor accountable. You're on the state Senate. What do you see as the next steps right now in terms of investigations? Does he still get impeached even though he resigned?
Well, for a number of reasons. First and foremost is we don't have to now deal with someone who's trying to cling to power for several months while these scandals continue to unfold. And with incoming Governor Kathy Hochul, we can get back to the business of the state, which has been paralyzed for the last several months. But that doesn't mean we should stop trying to make sure that accountability is seen as for not just the awful harassment incidences that the governor was involved in, but the nursing home deaths, the Mario Cuomo Tappan Zee Bridge problems, and a host of other issues that continue to unfold and will continue to be subject to scrutiny. There are 5 district attorneys looking at the governor's behavior. The federal prosecutors are in the midst of an investigation. The Assembly will decide whether it wants to continue on with impeachment. There will be civil lawsuits that unfold from all of this. And so we can expect that accountability should and will be had over the next several months on a number of these issues.
Let's look a little more into this accountability. On the issue of impeachment, is that simply to ensure that he does not run for office again, or does it hold another avenue which you would want to use with impeachment?
Well, the only allowable penalties that come with impeachment are removal from office, which he has now removed himself from office, and prohibition from seeking state office again. So should the Assembly decide to go forward and impeach, the Senate would have an impeachment court and have a trial based on those articles that the Assembly may send us. And the only penalty that would be relevant at this point, since he'll already be out of office, is the prohibition from seeking state office.
Yeah, so I guess the question is here, because the governor resigned yesterday, saying in part that he didn't want to waste millions of dollars to go through with an impeachment proceedings. And there was a lot of talk and scuttle about a closed door meetings or deals that were taking place that if he resigned, he wouldn't go through with impeachment proceedings. How true was any of that?
None of those things are true, as far as I can tell. There was never any formal outreach to the Senate about a deal. I saw the Speaker of the Assembly also claim that there was no such discussions with the Assembly. I think that part was more gossip than anything else.
Okay.
And as it relates to spending the money, the governor did not step down to avoid the wasting of money. The governor stepped down because he knew there was no way out of being forcibly removed from office if he didn't do it voluntarily. And I think he was sparing himself the embarrassment of going through that and being the second governor in our state's history to be impeached, and he did it on his own.
So should he still be investigated, though, for the truthfulness of the information that his office released about nursing home deaths during the pandemic?
I'm sorry, Betty, I couldn't hear the question.
We wanted to talk about 2 other issues that could be involved in the impeachment proceedings, being the nursing home deaths and his book deal. Will those be tackled in there?
Yes, the Assembly's already been issuing subpoenas as it relates to both of those issues. I think one of the reasons they want to continue forward with at least their investigation and potentially issuing a report is because those the findings are unresolved. So we know now, because of the Attorney General's report, what happened as it relates to the sexual misconduct the governor engaged in. But these other issues, which are incredibly important, there are thousands of families that have been affected by the decisions as it relates to the nursing homes. The Assembly is pursuing those leads, and at a minimum, we should know what they find so those families can get closure. And if it requires additional accountability, whether that's prohibition from running or some kind of something that the prosecutorial authorities may pursue, that remains to be seen.
Mr. Gianaris, we're out of time simply, but I do want to ask you a question here. As we see everybody kind of throw their support now behind Kathy Hochul as she will become the next governor, there's also talks about who is going to actually run for the office of governor. I want to ask you, since you are a high-ranking member of the state Senate, do you have any plans for higher office? Do you want to become the governor?
But right now, Kathy Hochul is going to be our governor. We all should rally behind her. The state is coming out of a pretty significant crisis, not just the crisis of governance that we're dealing with the gubernatorial shifting of power, but also COVID is still a threat, and we still have a number of issues that are unresolved. Rent payments have not gone out the door. The HERO Act, which would provide pandemic protections in the workplace, has not been enacted yet. There's a lot of things we need to do to get that done. The political season is next year. There will be a lot going on. I do not intend to run for governor, if that's your question about me personally, but I'm sure other people will be looking at a lot of opportunities anytime there's a shifting of power like this. Everyone looks at their options, but that's a conversation for next year.
All right, Senator Michael Gianaris, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
All right. And our